He can talk, and we're going to start, Chuck, down there in Miami with you. You got the floor.
Well, Ernie, it's been kind of shell shock, to be honest with you, the last 48 hours with Mr. Trump becoming the president. I was in shock. I'm not going to lie. I was totally surprised at the election results. That being said, we got to move on. I was disappointed because my candidate didn't win, number one. But like I say, it's over now. He's going to be the president of the United States. We have to respect the office, and we have to give him a chance. That's the bottom line. Somebody always loses an election. We've been fortunate. We won the last couple with President Obama. We didn't win this one. But like I say, I respect the office of President of the United States, and we have to give him a chance. Everything he said in the past, that's water under the bridge. And we have to give him a chance, and we have to support him because he's the president of the United States of America.
All right, let's go to Kenny now, Jet.
Well, I think, a lot of people are in shock, but I think the one thing is that you just can't be naive to think that anybody who voted for him is a racist or narcissist or anything other, or any kind of ism. But you still have to acknowledge that he made so many of those misogynistic, racist remarks and narcissistic remarks. So you have to acknowledge that. And that's what I think disheartening to the people who did not vote for him, like myself, is this disheartening because it feels like he enabled the workers of iniquity. Those people who don't really understand the bigger value. And so he gave them a forum and a platform that typically they don't have. And they felt like that you lock arms with them over policy, over your moral line. And I felt that the moral line for me, it wasn't about a Republican vote or a Democratic vote for me, Ernie. Obviously, it was about, he had crossed the moral line ethically that regardless of the policies that I wanted to be in place, I couldn't be locked armed with because of those things that he did. And that's where I think, I've been an NBA player and a black man for a long time. And I know how to take a loss. And I know how to get up from a loss and know. But when I'm misled or I feel abused in that process, then I'm going to feel a certain way. And that's what you see the repercussions of what's going on today is the workers of iniquity are locked arms with him. And he has to change that, and I'll give it to Shaq. And I think the last thing, he has to change that because he has to make it inclusive, but it's very tough for him because, Shaq, I think this, it's kind of, I liken it to the guy who's a narcissist in high school, and he wins the homecoming king. He really doesn't get humble after that. And so he has to change that direction and be more inclusive for sure.
Everyone was in shock, Ernie. We live in a democracy. I'm 45 years old, and the world is more divided now than it's ever been. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's my hope and prayer that him, as the leader of the free world, bring people closer together. It's kind of hard to believe that a guy with no political experience is the president of the United States. That's what's really hard to believe. And, I agree with Chuck. We have to give him a chance to do his job. Candidate Trump made a lot of promises. Now we just hope that President-elect Trump, soon to be President Trump, hopefully he can make this world a better place for us to live in. But everybody was in shock, but it's over and done. We live in a democracy. He won. He's the president. Now we have to give him a chance.
I've got kind of a three-part take on this after watching what we all watched on Tuesday. Number one, when this campaign season started, I felt like I'd been dealt a bad hand. I had these couple of choices. And there were trust issues with Hillary Clinton I couldn't get past. And there was this inflammatory rhetoric from Donald Trump, which to me was incomprehensible and indefensible. I couldn't vote for either one. For the first time in going to the polls for 42 years, I hit the write-in button. And I voted for John Kasich. And I left knowing that John Kasich wasn't going to win. But I left with a clear conscience because I hadn't settled. Number two, I'm hopeful. I watched the video today at CNN on what was going on at the White House with Donald Trump, President Obama. I was hopeful and I was encouraged that there will be a difference between the President Trump and the campaigning Trump. And I'm with these guys. We have to give him a chance. But here's the deal. I just hope that he's all in fixing the wounds in this country and the divides that separate this country. And I want to be part of that too. And for me to be part of it, I have to look in the mirror and I have to say, how am I going to be a better man? How am I going to be a better neighbor? How am I going to be a better citizen? How am I going to be a better American? How can I be a fountain and not a drain? And number three, I know you're not supposed to talk about politics and religion, but we're already talking about politics, and so I'm going to go the R direction too. I never know from one election to the next who's going to be in the Oval Office, but I always know who's on the throne. And I'm on this earth because God created me, and that's who I answer to. I'm a Christian. I follow this guy named Jesus. You might have heard of him. And the greatest commandment he gave me was to love others. And Scripture also tells us to pray for our leaders. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pray for Donald Trump. I'm going to pray for all those people right now who feel like they're on the outside looking in, who are afraid at this point. Pray for them too. In short, I'm praying for America. And I'm praying that one day we're going to look back and we're going to say, you know what? That Donald Trump presidency, that was all right. But I'm praying.